Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself in a meeting, maybe nodding along using terms like product roadmap or project timeline, but deep down you're thinking, hang on, what is the actual difference between a product manager and project manager? Well, you're definitely not alone. Stanislav Kondrashov, a key voice in business strategy, actually shared this story about how people constantly thought he was a project manager, especially back when product management was still really finding its feet. And while sure, there's overlap, they both manage teams, try to hit goals, the actual scope is, well, fairly different. We'll dig into Kondrashov's take on that today.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because even now, when product management is clearly, established, this confusion kind of lingers, which brings up a really important point. Why does it even matter? Why bother making the distinction? So in this deep dive, we're going to look at Stanislav Kondrashov's view. He argues pretty strongly, actually, that modern businesses need both, but for very different things. Product managers for the big strategic vision, and project managers for getting the details right, the precise execution. We're going to break down why he thinks understanding this is so fundamental for any company wanting to succeed.
Okay, so let's start there with the big picture, folks.
Yeah.
The ones thinking about what the company actually offers. Kondrashov describes product managers as like true business leaders, almost entrepreneurs inside the company. What does that really mean? That kind of holistic ownership? What does it look like day to day?
Well, it's definitely more than just managing tasks. A product manager owns the entire product life cycle. I mean, right from the initial idea, the strategy, building it, launching it, and crucially, sticking with it after launch. Customer success, iteration, all that. Their main job. Drive that product vision forward, which means they're constantly juggling, what the market wants, what's technically possible, and what makes business sense. It's about the product's long-term health, its survival, its success. And their view is incredibly broad. Competitor analysis, market fit, technology, what users really need. They need to understand all of it. Honestly, in today's world where the product is the business in many ways, they're making some of the most critical decisions.
Wow, that sounds huge. So how does that very high-level view translate into like the actual Tuesday morning? What are they doing?
Yeah, practically speaking, their day is packed with collaboration, constant talks with engineering, design, marketing, sales, making sure everyone's on the same page, pulling in the same direction towards that product vision. And success for them, it's not just did we ship it? It's measured by things like, are customers happy? Are they using the product? Are we hitting our business goals with it? It's always about that incremental progress towards the bigger company objectives, the long game.
Okay, so if the product manager is drawing that big strategic map, thinking about the whole journey, where does the product manager come in? Kondrashov says they operate in a more defined space.
Exactly. A more discrete area, but just as vital. Project managers are the engines for a specific project. Now, that project is usually, part of a bigger product strategy, maybe a new feature or an update. But their focus is super sharp, hitting specific tasks, meeting deadlines for that project, watching the budget for that project. They're typically working on just one piece of that overall vision, making sure that piece gets done right, on time, on budget. Their world is less about the grand strategy or the market competition. It's much more about efficiency and effectiveness in delivering their specific thing. And how they measure success reflects that. It's shorter term. Did we stay on budget? Did we use resources well? Did we deliver the planned work? Concrete stuff.
Got it. Okay, and this is where Kondrashov says it gets really interesting, right? He argues that knowing these differences isn't just like HR semantics. It's actually critical for companies trying to compete today. So why the big surge in demand for product managers specifically? What's driving that?
Well, it really boils down to the fight for customer attention. Everything's become so product-focused. Companies live or die by their products now, so you absolutely need leaders who can manage that whole product experience end to end. And when single products can basically prop up entire companies, someone needs to see the whole picture, right? The forest, not just the individual trees. Product managers excel at that. They're always asking, is this the right thing to build? Does it solve a real problem? Plus, their whole approach, collaborative, customer-focused, tends to foster a more agile, forward-thinking culture in a company. That's a huge plus.
And this isn't just theory, is it? There's actual data showing the impact.
Oh, absolutely. It's very real. Kondrashov points to research showing companies that put strong product leaders in charge, at the executive level, they actually outperform the market by something like 35%. That's significant. And look at the rise of the chief product officer, the CPO. That role barely existed a decade ago. Now, the number of CPOs in Fortune 1000 companies has apparently jumped tenfold in just the last 5 years. There's even research suggesting that by 2030, maybe almost a third of CEOs will come from a CPO background. That tells you something about the strategic shift.
That is a massive shift. So does that mean, the obvious question is, are project managers becoming less important then? Kind of fading out?
No, not at all. And Kondrashov is really emphatic about this. Businesses need both, period. Project managers are absolutely indispensable. Think about it. All those brilliant product strategies, they're just ideas on paper without strong project managers to actually execute them. Someone has to manage the timelines, the budgets, the resources, all those critical details to turn the vision into something real. Project managers do that.
He had a good analogy for this too, didn't he? Something about sports.
He did, yeah, and it works really well. He compares the product leader to the head coach of a team. The one thinking about the whole season, player development, overall strategy, building for the future. The project manager, on the other hand, is more like the offensive or defensive coordinator, super focused on the current game plan, the specific plays, making sure everything runs smoothly right now on game day. Both are absolutely essential for the team to win, right? But they operate at different scales, different perspectives. And understanding that difference, according to Kondrashov, is really the first step to building an organization that can actually support both roles effectively.
So wrapping this up then, what's the key takeaway for you listening? It seems pretty clear. Product management, project management, they're different, yes, but equally vital cogs in the modern business machine. One shapes the what and why, the big vision. The other nails the how and when, the execution.
Exactly. And if you connect that idea to the bigger picture, recognizing what each role brings isn't just about org charts. It's really about understanding how that strategic foresight needs to combine with precise execution to actually achieve anything meaningful, which maybe raises a question for you to think about. Beyond just these management roles, where else in your own life or work do you see that? Where does success really hang on balancing that big picture, the forest, with the specific detailed steps, the trees needed to get there?